better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at... I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm your dolphin fish Todd, which means this week Paige made us watch The Shape of Water. Or as I like to call it, the Margaret Howe Lovett story. Oh, I can tell by your face you don't get the joke. And I'll just tell you that there was a NASA experiment in the 60s where a woman was placed in a flooded house with a dolphin. And they were there for, I believe, 11 months. And yes, they did fuck.
What?
This movie is almost autobiographical from Miss Lovett's point of view.
That's crazy. I had never heard of that. I'm going to have to fall down an internet rabbit hole after this.
Yes, you are.
I do know that the porpoise family does have the genitalia most similar to humans. Thank you, Mansers. But I had no idea. This movie contains many things that I love, which is that vintage color green, mid-century modern everything, MK Ultra, and shoulders. And so I loved it.
Of course you did, Paige. Of course you did. I honestly didn't dislike it, although I really liked it because it made my wife say things like this while watching it. Oh, she just destroyed that whole damn building because she wanted to get some fish dick.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That was Natalie. That wasn't me. I literally got to give her credit because it made me chortle while watching it.
Oh, yeah. I said almost the exact same thing where she starts putting the towels under the door. And I was like, no, the hardwood floors.
It's fine. They haven't hit the 80s and the 70s yet. They were just about to put linoleum over it.
I know. Oh, man.
I did think it was funny that I'll just tell you, I could tell why the Russians lost the first Cold War. And it's because they allowed their operatives in the field being spy-ass spies to use bombs that tick louder than any time bomb I've ever seen in a movie. Guys, he's a spy. It's got to be covert. Maybe take the egg timer out of it.
Right?
That was insane to me. I was laughing the whole time they showed it because it was tick, 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 tick. It was so loud.
Like it was a Broadway play. Yeah, McCready. Whatever. The cat's around. We'll see.
Paige, you may want to send the cat out of the room because I guess the love interest in this film eats one of their heads. It's crazy that we're supposed to like it after that.
It was so upsetting.
I know.
I was not a fan. Also, we didn't cover today was the first time I'd ever seen this movie.
Oh, same, Paige. This is definitely the first time I saw this movie. I'm a little surprised it was the first time you saw it just because of the. Not
because I didn't want to. I think in part, I remember when this came out. And I don't know what episode it is or which one we cut it out of, but there's a very early cult podcast episode the week this came out, I believe, where Maria and I pester Armando for details about the fish fucking, and we cut portions of it out, but I think some of it stayed in the episode. If you listen and you know which one that is, let me know. But it was one of those things that then pandemic happened, and by the time I got around to I should watch that, I was on this show, and I was like, we're probably gonna watch that. Or rather, I figured we'd watch it on Horror Virgin. But it fits here. It's a weird little sci-fi romance, and I dig it.
I don't think it's scary at all. I mean, the only part I cringed was when he rips his own fingers off.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
And also when he puts his oozing bloody fingers over his wife's mouth while having sex with her. If you wondered if Strickland was the good guy, just know that he didn't eat a cat's head. So
Betty Draper deserved better.
Was that Betty Draper?
No, it's not. It just definitely looks like her.
I mean, she was playing Betty Draper, but I don't think it was.
It wasn't her, but it definitely might as well have been. She's one tray of fish sticks away. So I happened upon a thread, and I don't know if it's because my phone was listening to me, maybe, or if it's just because it's October. But on Threads, somebody was when people are hear me out, and then they post a picture of a person they find attractive, and people are like, what? Someone was hear me out, and it was the amphibious man from this movie. And then coincidentally enough, one of my sorority sisters, her hear me out is Michael Shannon. And I was like, what a weird confluence of hear me outs in this movie.
I bet there's someone out there listening right now that would not mind getting railed by Michael Shannon and, Doug Jones in the amphibian suit. Like, I'm sure that fetish exists. They really want Doug Jones to unlock the hatch.
The hatch. I have so many questions about the hatch.
I didn't know what to call it, so I called it the dong hatch, and I think it should stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of questions about that too, although I do bet it's probably based in some biology out there, because Del Toro's movies are usually like well-researched, even though they're like fantasy, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I loved the most about this movie, because you could tell that he had done research on like the MK Ultra period. And I loved that they were portrayed the way that I believe they really are, which is confused and violent, like wrong about most things, but willing to kill people for it.
It very much is the men who stare at fish.
100%.
Instead of goats.
I was like, he got it right. I feel like sometimes people portray MK Ultra as so smart, and so like Stranger Things kind of does this to a degree where it's like they're actually on the cutting edge or whatever. But the reality is not much useful was produced from those experiments except for us getting Nazis to help us get to the moon.
And some pretty great LSD from what I understand.
And some pretty great LSD. But like the actual experiments they were doing mostly failed, and to hilarious degrees. And so it's kind of wild, when a lot of conspiracy thought is like, oh, MK Ultra, it's like, read the documents, man. Like they failed so much, and people don't portray them failing enough. And this movie really kind of does. And I kind of dug it.
Yeah, me too. Although, does he survive at the end of the movie? Like, he gets knocked out by the guy.
Okay, I have a theory.
Tell me everything.
Because he gets his throat slit.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, that fish slits his throat.
The fish slits his throat. But he doesn't immediately bleed out, which made me wonder if he gave him basically the injury that she has. And he won't be able to speak anymore because he is so obsessed with silence, which is really creepy. But like,
only for women, though. Like, he's turned on by it.
And only for him to hear himself talk is 100% what it is.
Yeah.
And so like stealing that from him in a way I felt was metaphorically kind of a great bookend.
You didn't want him to die, though. Like, I kind of wanted him to die. Like, I was okay with him just being straight up dead as dead.
I did want him to die, 100%. He definitely is going to have sepsis if he doesn't already. But like, I thought him not dying but having that same injury, great bookend. But also him dying, totally cool with it.
Yeah. Although I do think if they're going to make a sequel, The Shape of Water to the Streets or whatever they're going to call it. Atlantis. Paige, how do we not call it Atlantis? Anyway, if they're going to make that and he is like now a mute struggling with it, like really upset all the time, angry, but just learned how to scuba dive. Like, let's figure this screenplay out, guys.
He's like coming to hunt them down.
Yeah. And I want all of this just because it would be a movie where that character can't speak and definitely dies this time.
Right.
Although I do think, of course, they're not going to make a sequel and shouldn't. And this movie, I think, says that he dies. At least that's the way I read it. Although I do like the just loses his voice.
Yeah, I'm fine with either one.
Yeah.
Fine with death, fine with the voice. I feel like, and maybe this is just me, I feel like the end of this movie has a bit of an atonement vibe in that.
Oh, that she's actually dead and he just carries her in the water, says goodbye, and swims away? Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
That's probably what happens. Although, here's what I hope, Paige, and this is going to sound insane, although I do think the movie sets it up. I think she is also from this species of people, and he, when he healed her and put his hands over her neck, is healing those scars to reveal, this is insane, her gills. Paige, I'm so sorry I'm saying this. Here's the evidence to back it up.
No, I'm not. You realize I have not interrupted?
Yes.
I'm willing to hear this out because I had a weirder theory. Go ahead.
Oh my God, cannot wait. But let me finish mine. And really just the evidence for this is that she's an orphan. She was found in the river. They say in the river.
Yes, that's
and
correct.
She has those scars on her neck. That's really all I've got. But that was my hope for the end of this movie, that they could be together forever.
Sure. And she's also from It implies South America, but they don't really specify.
Well, her last name does, but it's
Esposito, yeah.
obviously she's in an orphanage, so it's just like it's like calling Jon Snow. Like they don't know what last name to give her, so they give her one.
Right. And he was also found in that general area.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the thing. I cannot refute what you just said,
Thank
and that
you.
would be great. What a fun ending. Can I tell you something even crazier that I thought at the beginning of this movie? Because remember,
Please.
this is the first time I saw this today.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I really knew about this movie, because it was one of the few things that people talked about with this movie, instead of the beautiful cinematography and incredible character design that it did like win Oscars for and shit, but most people talked about the fact that she fucks the fish. And so I was like, fish fucking movie, right? But then once the movie started and reveals that she is nonverbal, I need hold my hand through the screen, Todd. I wondered if perhaps she had like water sounds, like echolocation, and that's how they were going to communicate.
Oh, wow. Paige, I kind of love that.
Right?
I love that you had that thought. Wow.
I was kind of disappointed when it didn't happen. Like she was going to get underwater and like they could then communicate, but I'm fine with the way it is.
I'm fine with the way it is too, Paige. Honestly, like, yeah.
I really genuinely enjoyed it. So
Me too. I did too. I mean, you do have to get over it being weird because she does have sex with a fish.
Sure.
But if you can get over that, like Lovett could, it's fine.
yeah, right. If you can get over that the way Tom Cruise does, I'm sorry, they're blind items. They might not be real.
Might. Paige, listen, it is what it is.
Right.
I do think it's wild that this world, let's just say the world that this movie takes place in, maybe to make it clear, is so afraid that women are going to find out that there's another fuckable option other than just basic dudes.
Sure.
That they have to keep it under lock and secret key. And I was like, man, that is definitely how it would go in this world too. Like 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same about if we ever discovered that werewolves were real, that like this would be a problem as well.
I do think there would be women lining up every full moon. Yeah.
But yeah, werewolves be slanging that thing.
And they don't even have to unlock the hatch like this dude does.
Well, no, you lock after. It's like a knot. It's like a whole thing. I feel like we talked about this before, but maybe not. Another time, perhaps.
Wait. If you have sex with a werewolf, you also have to unlock a hatch? I'm so confused right now.
No. Okay. Now, this was not the case on like True Blood and shit, but like modern werewolf lore, I'm pretty sure people just started researching shit that real wolves do and are like, yeah, put it in there. And one of the things that has become a thing in werewolf kinkery, is knotting, where like you're having sex with a werewolf in human form, but like after they come, it like swells and like traps it in there. So you're like knotted together to make sure it stays in. And then, as you come down, it kind of like, shrinks back, and then but you're like locked together basically for a bit of it.
One of my favorite things to do is just like wait while Paige is describing something gross and weird and just see how far she'll go with it. Because I've been sitting on, that's what that Bush song was about. And I just didn't want to say it until Paige like petered out of that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear every last little bit of it.
But also, you're not wrong.
Oh my God.
Anyway, there's weirder shit out there than this fish man with nice shoulders.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you could either date this amphibian man or Kyle from AutoZone, and so maybe one's a better option. I don't know.
I mean...
And I do think the movie kind of sets up that she might be a similar species to him.
Maybe.
The amphibious man. At least that's the way I'm reading it.
Look, here's what I'm going to say. If you're debating between this man and Kyle from AutoZone, remember that one of those things comes with free oil changes and the other is Kyle from AutoZone. So like, your reading that she might be his species is fascinating because that never occurred to me within the film at all. I'm not saying that's not the case. I would think that was a really interesting piece.
It's definitely not confirmed though. Like I will admit that's very loose. Like I think they're hinting at it on screen but never tie it down, which is fine. I don't need it tied down. But it makes the ending a little ambiguous because you're like, oh, she's just fully ass dead.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be more revealed that she was shot like in the lung and her like air breathing lungs were filling up with blood or whatever. And then he brought put her into the water and so she could breathe under the water.
Right.
But that is not what they show fully. But he does kiss her so good, it blows one of her shoes off.
I mean, that's what's up.
So I was like, hell yeah, dog. Was that the kiss or was that the current Paige? We'll never know.
I mean, here's what I'll say. We do demonstrate that his touch has healing powers.
100%.
And that is within the world of the movie.
Yeah.
I landed more on the side of this movie is by and large a meditation on the nature of loneliness and the need for connection.
Yeah.
And her being nonverbal could make it very difficult to connect with people. And she still does find community, but that is a very isolating feature of her.
Yeah.
And he is the person that makes her feel not isolated because of that. And it is kind of this idea of like, find your people. It may not look, air quotes, normal to other people, but find the people that treasure you for who you are. But then she gets gills at the end. So, you know.
I don't know that she gets gills at the end. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, like that is how I read it. But yeah.
On the screen, she gets gills.
I guess, yes, right? So yeah.
If that's what happens. I just wonder if the end is like a
Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, this is what I picture and I hope happened to them.
And that's the voiceover that they're saying. It isn't exactly those words, but it's almost that.
Right.
So it is set up to be ambiguous, but they're showing you like the happy version of it on screen.
Right.
But either way, Willie gets away. I don't know what to call him. The sea creature they're saving in this movie gets away.
It just says the amphibious man.
Yes.
Let's call him.
Wait for it. It's going to be so good, guys. She's waiting so long. It's going to be so good. Guys, wait while Paige cooks up this genius for us. Come on, Paige.
My brain just went.
What do you got?
My brain just went ribbit, and that's
all right.
it. It was like no other ideas.
The ribbit is gold. It's solid ass gold, and we're sticking with it. I love it.
Ribbit.
So, guys, this movie's about when Eliza fucks Ribbit.
Wait, her friend's name is Giles. His name is Gills.
What?
Let's go with that.
Gills?
Gills.
All right. Sir Ribbit McGills.
Yes, Sir Ribbit McGills of Clan McGills.
Right. It's a very, very prestigious clan.
They have a tartan, but it's only swimsuits.
They're a very prestigious clan in Edinburgh, Atlantis.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, Paige, one thing before we get started.
Wettenborough. Damn it.
Yes, it would be Wettenborough, Atlantis. Guys, look it up on Google Maps. It exists.
This is going to be a weird episode.
Paige, the movie's about a lady who fucks a fish. It's definitely going to be weird. It's a Del Toro movie. It's definitely going to be weird. Are you kidding me?
This might be one of my favorites of his, honestly. And I like Del Toro, but like...
Have you not seen The Usual Suspects? I know it's the other Del Toro, guys. Calm down. But yeah, no, I like all of the Del Toro movies for their aesthetic like nature. I think they're all amazingly done. I think this may be my favorite, if not one of the top two favorites of his movies overall as movies.
Yeah.
But I think even the ones that I don't care for the story in look amazing, like set design so amazing. Like he truly is gifted at a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes the story doesn't resonate with me, but that's fine. Like he's great at what he does. But Paige, really quick, before we get started, I wanted to ask, was it hot to hear the sexiest like pickup line ever in this movie? When Strickland was like, I bet I can make you squawk a little.
Oh, no, I was angry at it.
I was like, sir, she's not an ornithologist. Like, this is not hot to anybody. Like, unless you're like a bird watcher, you're not going to be into making things squawk. That's weird.
It's weird, and he's being creepy.
Super derogatory. Yeah, it was just like the grossest thing to say. Literally the next time we see him on screen after having the worst sex with his own wife, which is not her fault, mind you, at all.
No. And it's two consenting adults having a good ass time. Good for them. It's just shot from an above angle. And like, there's a reason we can't usually see sex that way. It's not the greatest way to see it.
No.
It looks odd. And why didn't they take off all their clothes? Come on.
I mean, listen, I hope they were both enjoying it. I get the feeling the wife wasn't very much because he was covering her mouth with his like bandaged hand and it was bleeding on her.
The bleeding was the problem for me because like it feels like she was not too opposed to the hand thing. And she initiated. Like she was like, let's go. The kids are gone. Let's get it down. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I wasn't worried for her, but I was just like, the kids are out of the house, man.
I was worried she was going to drink a little bit too much blood in this sexual encounter than maybe she's used to.
Become a vampire?
No, from his hand, Paige.
Sure.
From his hand that is literally oozing pus
No, I
and
know.
blood. How hot is Michael Shannon to you that you're like,
He's
I could
not.
drink a little bit of pus and blood for that guy?
No, thank you.
Have you not seen Boardwalk Empire?
No, I have. And honestly, half the movie is from Boardwalk Empire. There's that one guy that has what I call a vintage face.
Rothstein
Yes.
from Boardwalk Empire? Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like we only ever see him in period pieces because that's where his face belongs.
Yeah.
And like, I mean that in a very complimentary way. He looks like he walked out of like a wood cutting.
No, he's so good in this, and he's so good in
He's so
Boardwalk
good in
Empire.
this.
Literally everything I've seen him in, he's great in.
And we saw him in something else recently. He's always like half mobster.
Yeah.
He was great.
He's the Dr. Hofstetter in this movie, or Dimitri. He's like a Russian spy
Yes.
in this movie. Yeah, Dimitri.
Yeah. No, Michael Shannon is not my hear me out. My hear me out is Sebastian Stan in Fresh, which I feel like I shouldn't have to make too strong of a case for. But no, one of my sorority sisters revealed that Michael Shannon was her hear me out, and another sorority sister told me about it. And I was like, what? And she was like, I know. And it's just been a weird thing that we know about that other girl now.
I don't think that's such a weird hear me out. I think he's like a handsome-ish dude. I don't know.
I feel like I would say this movie is maybe the most handsome visually I have found him, but he's always a villain and so scary that I just picture him reading that sorority letter, which is one of my favorite like old online videos because it's just pure rage. And I'm like, that's a little too much rage for me, you know?
You think he's got secrets and that doesn't turn you on, Paige?
No, secrets do turn me on. It's the thing that he don't got no secrets. It's all angry. It's all out in the open.
He doesn't need to unlock the hatch. It's already out in the open. Paige,
It's already, the hatch is open.
perhaps we should go through this movie and open it scene by scene.
Let's do it. We have cool, watery credits. And I do like that this is basically her apartment building, and it's almost as if you're viewing it from under the water, which is a really interesting visual. But we get the voiceover, which we will find out is Giles, her neighbor / gay bestie.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I spoke about it, what would I tell you? And he kind of describes like what seems to be a nondescript time and place. But we will find out is the United States in the early 50s is what this is.
It's actually 1963 Baltimore.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize we got a day.
They say it a few different times.
I know it's Baltimore, but...
Yeah, they say Baltimore, but they say the Battle of Pusan, which was in 1950.
Okay.
And they say it's 13 years after that. That's how I got there. They don't ever put it on the screen or
Yeah,
anything,
okay.
but like I paid attention to that, so I knew we would, talk about it.
All right, so 1963 Baltimore.
Yeah.
And because we know it's Baltimore and we're kind of in the suburbs, we know that the lab is probably in DC or very close to it.
Close by, yeah, I would assume.
Yeah.
But they're also close to the Chesapeake, which so they have access to a body of water that opens up to the ocean, and like when he gets in the water, he could be gone, like easy.
Yeah. But in this initial voiceover, it plays it as if it's a nondescript time and place, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yes, it does.
And I love that it sets it up. It's like of love and of loss and of the monster who tried to destroy it all.
Yeah.
Which we will reveal is not who you think it is. Great setup. Now, the visual shifts. So now it's just a normal apartment building. We're hearing sirens. It's a terrifying bathroom that does have black mold. For sure.
Yeah.
But I love that shade of green. And we reveal that both of the apartments, this one and the one next to it, are above a movie theater, which is kind of fun because we'll cut down and see movies every once in a while. Their landlord is the theater owner.
I love when she came out of her her apartment and like came down the stairs and he was like, hey, come and see the new Bible movie. Please, I'll give you tickets. Like no one's going to the theater anymore. And I was like, yeah, because you're showing the Bible movie. Like how great was that in 1963?
Well, it's 10 Commandments, Carlton Heston.
Oh, that's one of the best ones then.
Yeah. That's one of the only good ones. But like, that's how I had the touchstone for it is he's like, it's the Bible movie. But then when they cut and show parts of it, I'm like, it's Charlton Heston's, whatever, 10 Commandments with the chariot races and like all the stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we see her getting into a very full bathtub and masturbating with an egg timer. which means she's got it down to a science.
Yeah, she's got a schedule to keep, guys. Like she's only got so much time to give herself a hand.
Yeah. And she doesn't have a shower. It's only the bathtub. So like,
I think it's because she likes to be in water. I think the credits are her dreaming of what her life would be like if it was in water.
Okay.
Right? That's why I think she's from that species, maybe.
This is why I don't disagree with your reading, because she seems to mostly jerk off in water. And I was like, is it because it's where she feels most comfortable?
Right.
Or she's sexually aroused by water? I don't know.
It could be both.
Anyway, she finishes up.
Literally.
And goes to grab her like calendar. And it's one of those ones where you like rip off every day and it's got a thing. And this one says, time is but a river flowing from our past. So maybe now, like with your theory, I mean,
it's on the screen some. I don't think they ever confirm it, but it's on the screen some.
it is on the screen some. Anyway, she polishes her shoes, makes breakfast, takes it over to the next apartment where her neighbor seems to be essentially an advertising artist, like what graphic design used to be before computers, where it would largely be painted.
Yeah.
And before photographs were popular in magazines. This is because I'm a Mad Men nerd. The graphic designers and art department in Mad Men are such interesting, like, B storylines through the whole show. And a lot of them were closeted. So it was not surprising that this is kind of where her neighbor is at too.
Yeah.
And I think the movie does a real good job of like subtly letting us know until it definitively lets us know, but it gives us an idea of what their relationship is like, which is basically like bestie friends forever. And I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is where she comes downstairs to go to work and the theater owner is like, come see the Bible movie, bring Giles with you. He's a good boy. And I think the theater owner is like, I'll set them up. And it's like, buddy,
Yeah.
he's into dudes. She's into fish. It's never going to happen.
Neither of them are into it. Yeah.
Neither of them are into it. They're just life mates, friendship life mates, and we love that for them. Also, we watch a man with cake and balloons get on a full-ass bus with nothing covering the cake, no box or anything.
It was the 60s, Paige.
That's just doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Doomed to fail.
The second he hits a bump, his face is going in that. Like it's,
Yeah.
Unless he's going to a Benny Hill taping, like it's not going to work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, she gets off the bus. And it's unclear. Basically, this is like the Ocean Institute of Baltimore or whatever. It looks like an aquarium. But once they get inside and get downstairs, it's very clear that this is an underground government testing facility.
Yeah.
But her friend Zelda, Octavia Spencer.
She's so good in this too. Like I love Octavia Spencer. When I saw her on the screen, I was like, oh man, if I couldn't speak and I had to spend all day to someone who was just talking at me,
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer's definitely on that list.
I'd take Octavia Spencer. That'd be great.
Yeah, she is so delightful in this movie, talking largely to like herself. I mean, she is very like inclusive and is talking to Elsa, and Elsa talks back because she can sign back and forth. But I would say it's 95% Octavia Spencer talking the whole day.
Well, I think this is a really interesting feature of the movie because if you have a character who is nonverbal but does communicate, because, you know, Elisa signs, and it seems like Giles knows how to sign a little bit because they communicate through sign.
He can read her signs. He does.
Yeah.
He speaks back to her because she can hear, but yeah.
Right. For the benefit of the audience, though, I think it's really interesting that even when she signs, people speak her signs aloud.
Yeah, and that is usually Octavia Spencer, right?
Right.
Because it's usually at work that it happens, and she's like, they're like partners, I don't know, but they're like both on the housekeeping staff, and they're like a squad.
Yeah, they're like a team. I think from a filmmaking perspective, it's very, very interesting because it requires a lot of the screenwriter to find ways to have them vocalize exposition without it seeming boring or dragging. But then it's similarly a challenge for the actress playing Elisa, who literally has to emote with no verbalizations so that when people are saying she means this or she's saying this, it seems consistent. And I think she does a great job of that because anytime other people are not in the room with her, we see some signs like she teaches Gills egg and, you know, friend and things like that.
Yeah.
But like largely in those moments, there's no dialogue and there's very little signing. And it is a lot of just communicating with their physicality in a way that is not a definitive conversation, but rather just vibes. And I think that's very challenging to do. And I think they do a really good job.
And they do too. I mean, they definitely build some chemistry between Amphibian Man and her, right?
Right. But then Octavia Spencer also gets to say amazing things like, if farts were flattery, he'd be Shakespeare, about her husband, which I thought was great. I was like, good job, screenwriter. That one's a blast. And then because she complains about her husband the entire time, and then we meet him and we're just like, what an asshole. Like, you're immediately on her side.
Yeah. Well, the only scene he's in, you're very much like, oh, they're getting divorced. Like, there's no way this is going to last.
Yeah.
Like, if Octavia Spencer could have a bank account, this would have ended months ago.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, as they're cleaning, a group kind of bustles through and they're like, quick move. We have a new asset and a new team coming in. And they roll like a cylindrical, almost like a casket shape filled with water into this testing room. And in comes Michael Shannon. And they seem to have just completely ignored the cleaning crew, which I think is very interesting throughout the movie, that's part of how they get away from this for so long, because it's almost like they're seen, not heard, or, like in the periphery, people don't even consider them human. People don't pay attention to them.
I mean, when he has the people who did the caper in his office,
yes,
and he's like, why am I interviewing the fucking help? And you're like,
yes,
because they're the ones that outsmarted you, you dumbass.
Yep.
And then he kicks him out and he's like, it has to have been at least 10 specially trained agents from Russia or whatever, because he's so like full of himself that he doesn't think women on the cleaning staff could outsmart him, when like they've been learning how to avoid him and make him not see them for years. Maybe not him specifically, but like they are.
But people like him, yeah.
Yes, they are good at diminishing themselves and making them seem like non-threats to the people in power, because that's how they survive. And so they're just like really good at it.
It's a great commentary on that level's view of who is human and who is not.
Oh, yeah.
Because we hear a lot of racist dialogue from them.
Well, he literally says other races aren't human.
Yes.
In one line. Well, he says two different races in one line aren't human either, and we kill them. It's fine. He's so crazy racist. Like, it's not just that he's like speciesist, which whatever can get, I guess, maybe on some level. I don't care. But like, he definitely is racist.
Right. But he absolutely does not view the cleaning workers as human.
Right.
And then on top of that, when they eventually go to save Gills, where Giles is like, he's not human, we don't have to worry about it. And her response of, if we don't help him, neither are we, basically meaning like, it is human to have compassion. And if we don't, we are not human, basically flipping it. So it's like, those above who do not have compassion, who would kill this, who would be this violent needlessly, are not human.
Yeah.
And I love that line. I was like, that is a banger.
I love
in
that.
the middle of the movie.
I mean, I like teared up some. That is the moment, and I know we're not there yet, but that's the moment I think where she has to choose a side.
Yeah.
And she chose it.
Yes.
She like bangs on the wall to get Giles' attention again, and then like signs all that. I was like about to cry. It was very emotional. It's great. And she does an amazing job in this whole movie. Everyone does.
Yes. Anyway, so she, like, they kind of leave the tank out and she taps it, and there's like a distressed noise from inside the tank. And they freak out because something made noise inside the tank. They immediately whisk the tank away and kind of usher the cleaning ladies out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of jumps up and scares her.
Yeah.
Although it's not necessarily violent. It's just like, help me.
Right.
But it's just so quick, it's kind of scary. And then that's when they rush him out of the room. Yeah.
They rush him out of the room. But we cut to her and Giles after work going to get pie. And he's put on a toupee. They go to this pie restaurant. And at this point, I was like, Giles is gay and he has a crush on the guy at the pie restaurant.
Which is very clear when they eat the pie and it's gross.
Yeah. And they're like, just save it for later. And they just put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to her morning routine again. So we see her masturbating with the egg timer. We see the her getting ready, her getting to work, and they go to clean the men's bathroom. And this is when Michael Shannon walks in with a cattle prod.
Yes. Okay, Paige, I do want to point this out.
And pisses in front of them.
Well, okay, yes. He does piss in front of them.
Yeah.
But he, before that, washes his hands.
Yeah.
Takes a piss, then doesn't wash his hands, but says, like, you have bad character if you wash your hands before and and after. And I thought to myself, okay, fair maybe because you're just like doubling up on the time you need to spend washing your hands.
But then why not just wash them after?
Right. Exactly, Paige.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
You can't control that thing. Not 100% of the time.
Yeah. I'm of two minds in this scene where either he views them as so subhuman he doesn't even view it as people watching him, or he is actively trying to make them uncomfortable in a sexual way. And I think it's a little of column A and a little of column B.
I definitely think it's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he clearly has a thing for Eliza.
Yeah, and making her uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It excites him for her to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I specifically think like his sexual kink is making people uncomfortable.
That might be why he covered his wife's mouth.
Yeah.
Because she was enjoying it and he was like, no.
He's like, I want you to hate it.
Hate it.
Gross.
I mean, unless you consensually are hating it. If that's like part of it for both of you, vaya con Dios.
Yeah, whatever. Because then you're not really hating it. You're putting on a show.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We all love a little bit of improv.
Right?
But he walks out and grabs the cattle prod and he tells them it's a cattle prod. But as he leaves, she notices there's blood on the sink where the cattle prod was sitting.
Right.
So he's been like torturing Gills.
Yeah, very clearly not his blood.
Right. But they come outside and within just a few minutes, there's a scream and Michael Shannon is in the hallway. And it looks like he's been shot, but it's just two of his fingers have been bitten off.
Yeah.
And there's blood everywhere. So they immediately call them in to clean the tank, clean the room. And they find his fingers. They put it in a paper bag. He's mad that they get mustard on it. Fuck that.
I thought that was really funny. I was like, it's the only bag they had, you ass.
Look, fingers can't be choosers. And so he gets the bag with the body parts. They clean up. But as they're kind of cleaning up, she peeks into the tank. And this is where she sees Gills for the first time.
Yeah. And she's like, ribbit.
Ribbited for my pleasure.
Well, we never see what pops out of that hatch page, but one would assume.
I mean, missed opportunity. But we then cut to her and Giles having breakfast because it is implied that she works the graveyard from like midnight to 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yes.
And then he works a regular daytime hours. So they kind of like, when she gets home, they have breakfast and then they kind of go their separate ways. So they're eating cornflakes and he tells her about how cornflakes were supposed to prevent masturbation, but it didn't work. And I was like, no shit, it doesn't work.
No.
This lady egg timers it every morning.
Yeah, which like that's 4 to 12 minutes. Like it's a quick trip.
Yeah.
Egg timers don't last that long.
No, they don't. And I applaud her efficiency.
Yeah.
But I wish every once in a while she'd take some time for her, leisurely, enjoy it.
Maybe on her day off, Paige.
Yeah, right. She never seems to have one. The passion, the tension, the action. Danielle L. Jensen's Saga of the Unfated duology is complete. I know you were waiting for it. And it's ready to be your next great fantasy romance binge. You know I would not steer you wrong when it comes to romantasy books, so you should read Saga of the Unfated. It's a Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology from the best-selling author of the Bridge Kingdom series. Book 1 is A Fate Inked in Blood, perfect for spooky season. You'll fall in love with Freya, who is a shield maiden with a secret gift, and a forbidden love for Bjorn. So, a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, all while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son. Pretty sure that's Bjorn. Then, you should experience the epic conclusion to their high-stakes saga in Book 2, A Curse Carved in Bone. I honestly can't think of anything better for spooky season than carving curses in bones. It's like the whole vibe right now. This is also about Freya, who fights to break the shackles of prophecy in this searing conclusion to the Saga of the Unfated romance fantasy duology. That's 2 books. 2 books. You don't even have to wait for a third. 2. 1, 2, done. USA Today calls it captivating and sexy with a fierce heroine and a smoldering hero. A Fate Inked in Blood is everything you want in a fantasy romance. You know who gave them that quote? Elise Kova, the best-selling author of A Deal with the Elf King. An elf king. That's the only thing better than an elf prince. A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone are available now, everywhere books are sold.
Mr. Monopoly here. Monopoly is back at McDonald's. Register in the McDonald's app so you're ready to... Get your bag! To ways to peel for a chance to
Get your bag!
physical peels with select items and digital peels with others to
Get your bag!
play Monopoly at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
No purchase necessary. See rules at playatmcd.com for full details and amoe.playatmcd.com to play without purchase. Ends November 23rd, but bonus play ends November 2nd. Monopoly is a registered trademark of Hasbro. Copyright McDonald's.
But he goes to turn in the new art for this campaign, and he's like, oh, they want the Jell-O green instead of red, and he wants them happier, so go, like, do it again. Now, this is not important to the movie, but I had questions. Do you think Giles was fired for being a homosexual because potentially this person who is in a higher position of power was his partner and threw Giles under the bus to save his own job?
Do you mean partner as in romantic partner? Because then,
Yes.
no, I didn't get that vibe. I got that he was his old boss and
Yes.
fired him for, I think the charge was being an alcoholic.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I do think it was because he's gay.
Yes.
And the only
yeah.
reason I think that is because he asked him the first time they meet, have you been drinking? And he's like, no, not a drop. And he hasn't been.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
We
you're
haven't
right.
seen him drink at all. So he's being honest as far as we know.
Right.
And then later, when he delivers what is being asked for and better than was being asked, it's clear that it wasn't the alcohol that was the problem this time.
Yeah.
Because it's not even brought up again.
Right.
So I thought that maybe not partner, although, you know, you probably could read it that way too, but at least boss,
Yeah.
who was still wanting to exploit his labor but not pay him his salary.
Right. I mean, that makes me wonder if it's like drunk at the Christmas party and what happens at the pie shop later happened at that Christmas party and the excuse was, I'm sorry, I was drunk.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
They never really get into it though. But yeah, I that's kind of the vibe I picked up on, but you could read it differently, honestly, because it is pretty vague.
Yeah. Anyway, so she goes back to work and goes back to the tank, but the amphibious man, aka Gills, is in the bigger tank, and she kind of like sits down to eat her lunch and taps a hard-boiled egg, and he pops up because he loved them eggs.
Yeah, he was like, what you got with them eggs, lady?
What's good with them eggs, girl? And like he stands up, revealing that he has abs.
Yeah, he's got a 32 pack.
Yeah. And he kind of like shrieks at her, and then she tries to teach him sign language. She teaches him the word for egg.
Yeah. Doesn't she give him the egg too? Like she puts the egg down, right?
She does. She takes the shell off of it and like sets it down and teaches him egg.
Yeah.
Although that's the last time they remove a shell. He's eating them shell on for like the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, he's an animal.
But I think his hatch can digest that or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, turns out Michael Shannon is alive and is asking them about kind of where they found his fingers and, you know, what they've seen and if they can be quiet about it, essentially. But this is where he asks Zelda if she's an only child, and he says, oh, that's weird for you people. I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Jeez, Michael Shannon.
There's never a moment where Michael Shannon's not super racist.
I mean, but accurate for the time makes you hope that he dies at the end, essentially.
Yeah.
They set him up as pure evil. It's great.
Yeah.
But this is also where we find out about her origin story, Eliza, that they found her and she had an injury around her neck, and that has resulted in her not being able to speak.
Yeah, those are those 4 scars that I believe are Gills.
Right.
Yeah.
The story they give is that whatever gave her those scars damaged her voice box, and it has been that way since she was a very, very young child, so she has never been able to speak.
Yeah.
But she does communicate, and Zelda really kind of, you know, enforces this of like, she can hear you, she understands you, and she is saying things back to you. I'll try and tell you as much as I can, but like, she is not, like, don't think that she is not a factor here, if that makes sense. And he dismisses it. He doesn't listen to her.
Which is so stupid just because, like, he is looking for, later in the movie, for who stole this thing. And he is just fine to not understand what one of the suspects is talking about right in front of him. Like, if I was that detective, I'd be like, okay, I have to like learn without her knowing some sign language on some level, because I've got to be able to like eavesdrop on those conversations more or less, you know, like, and he just takes no interest in it at all because he doesn't see it as like even possible that a woman could do that.
Not at all. And this is also where he gives in this scene the talk of like, we were made in the Lord's image. Well, maybe me more than you, meaning white people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, God.
Or men. It could be read as
Or
men
men. It
too,
could also
because it's
be
both
men.
women. Yeah, no, but I mean, either both are bad. I'm not saying one's good and one's not. They're both terrible, but yeah.
Also, he's like, well, at least I still have my thumb, trigger, and pussy finger. And I was like, you only have one pussy finger? Fucking amateur.
Paige, and he uses that to try and shoot them as they're escaping, because if he had used his real trigger finger, he definitely would have hit something.
Right? Anyway, we cut down to the tank where she brings another egg, and he has now learned the sign for egg and like confirms that that's what it is.
Yeah. This is where, like, I bet, and I don't even know if she was still alive when this movie came out, but where Margaret Lovett,
The lady with the dolphin?
yeah,
I gotta read up on this.
Margaret would have been like, wait a second, why does this all seem very familiar to me?
How can he sign with flippers?
Ugh. I mean, honestly, someone's going to sue somebody if they saw this movie. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, anyway, we cut to Michael Shannon's house. It's very Don Draper. It's very suburban America in the early 1960s. I do love that his son is like, we're burying a time capsule. When we dig it out, do you think we'll have jetpacks? And he just goes, of course, this is America. Walks away.
But he says it like a 1960s asshole would say it. He's like, yeah, son, this is America. Like it's like the worst way to say that. I don't know. It made me laugh just how like arrogant it was.
Arrogant. Although this is also the first time he smells, because they reattached his fingers, that he smells them and he's like, oh, and they look kind of off the whole time and eventually start dying.
I mean, that happens though. Like,
Yeah.
the drummer for Def Leppard got his arm back after the accident for like 2 weeks, and then they had to retake it off because of this.
Yeah.
Like, it's that this kind of stuff happens, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever taken their 2 fingers and like ripped them off and then just thrown 2 pickled fingers on their friend's floor like he does to Octavia Spencer at the end of this movie. But that kind of stuff does happen sometimes. Your body just won't take it back.
Yeah. But this is where his wife is like, hey, like, the kids are out, let's go. And he is covering her mouth with his hand, even though his hand is bleeding, which is super gross.
It was so funny to me that he was just like talking to her about his day or whatever. And they're like in their room and he's like sitting down, taking his shoes off, and she just like flops a tit out and puts his hand on it. I was like, yeah, this is going to happen for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's how I get it started.
It would work.
I just walk wherever my husband is in public. No, just flop one out. Actually, my favorite thing to do is to take an ultra close-up picture of one nipple and just send it, because you're like, what is this? Is this the surface of the moon?
I'm not sure we have to tell each other everything, Paige.
That's fair. Some things can be inside thoughts. Anyway, as he's covering her mouth, he's like, silence. I love the silence. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
this does not bode well for our main character.
No, it does not.
Oh no. Anyway, we cut to the next day. Eliza has brought an album to play and more eggs.
A lot more eggs.
And makes the sign for music. A lot more eggs. And I do love that he kind of chitters like a cat, but it seems like he likes different kinds of music. So she's bringing different albums, and we get a little bit of a montage of them kind of getting to know each other over music and eggs.
It's kind of like a janitor in a prison fell in love with like a prisoner kind of, but this is their like montage of dates that would be like in that scenario, right? Like she's bringing him food, she's showing him music and stuff like that. It is kind of sweet, although obviously they're still in quote jail,
right?
Which is this, science facility or whatever it is.
Right. Now, we do also see one of the doctors, one of the scientists, watching them and taking notes.
Yeah, this is Hofstadter.
Yes.
And he is, I think, a hero in the movie, although he dies and technically is a Russian spy.
Yes.
The only reason I would call him a hero is because in the moment where he could have done what the Russians and Americans asked him to do, he chose to save the amphibian man's life.
Yes.
So I think he's on the side of good ultimately, even though he dies and is a Russian spy. But he, in this moment, I think is like, oh shit, that's not just an animal. That's an intelligent animal.
Right.
And that's when I think it changes for him, where he's like, oh, then we can't kill it and take it apart.
Right.
Like, it seems like he doesn't want to not study it, but he wants to study it in somewhat of a humane way, I guess.
Yes.
So I don't think his motivation is to get it out of like a prison type scenario, although it sounds like he wants to get it to Russia and study it, but he doesn't want to kill it.
Right.
At this point.
But we see him go to his house, take something out from under the floorboards, and go meet with 2 other Soviet operatives in a Russian restaurant, and he is basically giving them notes on the monster. He's like, it responds to language, it responds to music, it is intelligent, we can't just cut it up. And they're like, nah.
Well, they're telling him to kill it because the Americans have it, and they're like, it's more important that the Americans don't learn this than we learn it.
Well, that's later.
Oh, yeah, but they eventually do tell him to kill it, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And in part because America's going to kill it, too, where he's like, can we save it? And they're like, no. Anyway, we cut to back at work where Eliza and Zelda are taking laundry out. And this is where they stop to have a smoke break because it's a camera blind spot.
Yeah.
And that will be important later. But we cut to the next day. She brings the egg, but then she hears Michael Shannon coming in and notices that Gills is not in the water, but rather strapped outside the tank and not doing well because he's not in water.
Oh, and he's just fully chained up, too. It's not just that he's out of water. Like, he's chained up in kind of a kneeling position. He's clearly being tortured, you know?
Right.
And she, like, walks in to have their, like, early morning lunch date because it's her lunch hour or whatever. And she sees him, like, mid-torture. Like, honestly, Michael Shannon just went to go take a piss break again.
Right.
Because he comes in holding the cattle prod, and then, of course, she hides, but he keeps using it on him.
He does. And at this point, the generals from the American side that are here to kind of evaluate the creature come in, and she gets to overhear it. And we find out that part of the reason they abducted him from where they abducted him from is because they're trying to figure out how to get people to space. And if he doesn't have to breathe air, maybe that could be a way to get people to space if they examine him and either synthesize something from his anatomy or make more of him or send him to space.
Right.
Which is wild. But Michael Shannon's just like, why don't we just kill it and cut it apart? And they're like, yeah, why the fuck not? It's not even human. Like, who gives a shit? And this is where Hofstadter is like, no, like, he has value. He is intelligent. I want to continue studying and we can't just kill him. There are things to learn about him. And they're like, nah, kill it. And of course, Eliza overhears this and rushes back basically home and is like, Giles, they're going to kill him. I don't know what to do, but I got to get him out of there because like he does not view me as any different from anyone else, where even though everyone else is kind to me, despite the fact that I'm nonverbal, for him, it's not even an issue. And I feel kind of natural with him, if that makes sense.
I think what she says is pretty tantamount to just, I am my most me self when I'm with him.
Yes.
And that is enough for him. Whereas with everybody else, you're only seeing what I'm lacking.
Right.
And he doesn't see me as lacking at all. And I mean, obviously it's a fish. So if you like take that out of it, just finding someone that makes you feel that way, I understand why you would be like, no, I'm in love with this feeling and I need to have it in my life. Like, obviously it's a very heightened metaphor and stuff because it's a fish, but I really love that about this movie. I love that she feels that way. And when you hear her say that, you're like, yeah, we got to save this thing.
Yeah,
although Giles is very scared because it is breaking into like a MK Ultra facility and then breaking out a literal alien or like species that they don't know what it is.
Right.
I would be scared too.
Yeah. And this is also where she says he's like, it's not even human. And she's like, if we don't help him, neither are we.
Yeah.
Basically.
This is that scene where she beats on the wall and says that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It does not resonate with him just yet. He goes to get pie and seems to be having a good conversation with the guy at the pie shop, who then turns out to be super fucking racist and awful.
Something happens first, though. He goes to the, I don't know, Jello headquarters where he used to be in the art department or whatever.
Oh, you're right.
Because he gives him the new painting, more or less.
Right.
And his old boss, this is where it's clear it's not the alcohol that was the problem, right?
Right.
And he's just like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, you scram, old art director who I'm bigoted against. It's very much that vibe. And so then he goes to the diner because I think he just wants to have something good happen in his life, and all the interactions he's had with this guy he has a crush on have been good, and it goes badly. And I don't know if you saw it, Paige, but he leaves the art there.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and it's kind of made me sad for Giles' character, although I think because he lives at the end, I'm more okay with it. But I think he goes and is like, I will help you with whatever you need, because he is at a place where he's like, I don't have anything else in my life.
Sure.
So if I die helping her, I'm fine with it. Which is like, it makes me kind of sad for him, but I love that he helps her. I love that their friendship is so tight and like, it's so sweet between the two of them. I loved it, but it made me sad that he got to that place.
I have a slightly more optimistic read of it. yes, what happens to him is bad, obviously, because they seem to be having a good conversation. And it does seem like his interest is reciprocated. I don't think he is wrong to potentially make a move, but it is a dangerous time in history to do that.
Yeah.
And the pie shop guy reacts very badly and then is super racist. And it's very much this realization of like, you're not who I thought you were at all. And this is not my happy ending, if that makes sense. And I think for him, it's like, if she has truly found someone who can be with her for who she is, why should I ever stop that for my friend?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, 100%.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's just sad to me that he got there by having someone say just no to him so harshly and like, and it was just a terrible time. It was a terrible time to be an othered person.
I also don't necessarily think that the interest is not reciprocated. I think the pie shop owner might just be scared.
I wondered if it was because it was during the middle of the day with patrons there. I wondered that too, because he does sit down next to him on the bar.
Yes.
And he is like really into the conversation.
They talk every time. And he's like, you're a great conversationalist. I love having you here. Like,
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Sad. It's very sad.
Very sad. Anyway, so he agrees to help her out. So now they're going to try and like synchronize their watches and make a plan. Meanwhile, the Soviets are also making a plan, but their plan is to kill it because they're like, we don't need to learn. We just need Americans not to learn. But of course, Dr. Hofstetter doesn't want that. Dr. Hofstetter wants to learn.
Yeah, because this thing has an intelligence. It has probably a culture, whether it has like other family members or other members of its species even. It has a way of living that like is worth studying before it dies. And then I do think if it just died of natural causes, of course, they would do like an autopsy and all that stuff.
Right.
And Hofstetter, I think, just wants to like study it until that point, kind of like a zoo. And I'm not saying that that's great, but it's better than just killing the guy, you know, like, so I think it's Hofstetter's character is a little complicated, I think, but he is, I think, more moral than the security guy Strickland is, you know, who, and the general who just want to rip it apart and take it apart and see how it works. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have to say the Russians' plan isn't just to kill it, because then they wouldn't do anything. They would just be like, yeah, let the Americans kill it.
Right.
It is to take it and kill it so it's easier to transport and let them deconstruct it.
Right. They want to vivisect it. They want the Americans not to be able to vivisect it.
So it's essentially the same plan that the housekeeping staff here pulls off,
right?
But killing it in process, because then we don't have to worry about it fighting back or chaining it up. We can just throw it in a laundry bin, push it out, and it's done, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's why the Russians are interested. They don't also want it just dead. They want to take it.
Right, right. While that's happening, Michael Shannon's buying a Cadillac.
I loved, first off, that it was teal. I don't know why, but I was just like...
Teal and not green. And I thought it was really interesting that he didn't like green, because green is such a color in this movie. I would almost argue that green represents either community or finding your person.
I think it's finding your place.
Or finding your place.
It's definitely that acceptance on some level.
Which is also why when he goes back to that pie shop, it's not key lime pie.
It's not. Exactly. I was going to point that out too, but it slipped my mind when we were talking about it, because it is different. Yeah.
Right.
I also think that, I don't know, man, Strickland just seems like the kind of guy who is the way he is because other guys have told him to be that.
Yes.
And he has never, ever had an original thought in his head. And the only reason I say that is because the salesman talks him into this car. Like, he doesn't like the car initially. And then you see him driving away in that car. You know, I was like, oh, he just like does what he perceives as what is expected of him.
Well, and I think it's air quotes, toxic masculinity thing of like, well, green is for pussies. Like that kind of like one color would be acceptable over another. And it's like, what? I like the color. Who cares?
My first drum set was teal. I love it.
I love teal. I love the like blue greens. Oof.
Yeah, it's great.
Love them.
I do think that just because Guillermo del Toro movies always have like a color theme to them, like when we talked about Crimson Peak, we talked about the yellow versus black, right?
Yeah.
And I do think that this is the yellow of that movie, which is like the positive color they're trying to make you associate with the good things in the movie.
Yes.
I think that's why his fingers are turning black. You know, like he is becoming an othered thing throughout this entire movie because of his like refusal to accept the truth of his hand.
Yes. Yeah.
And also like the world around him is the larger metaphor. But yeah.
Right.
Like I really like that Guillermo del Toro movies like bake that shit in. Every one of them does it. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this means that two different people or two different sets of people have plans to get this guy out. Now, as they are trying to set it up, she has to go move the cameras. And she's she's on her way to do it when Michael Shannon spills water, makes her come and clean it up.
Yeah.
And this is where he's like, are you entirely silent or do you squawk sometimes? Because I think I could make you squawk a little bit.
Gross.
Hate it. No. But at this point, she then goes to move the camera and she's supposed to meet Zelda for their end of the day, ride the bus together, whatever. And she doesn't show up.
Yeah, it's like they're going home ritual. Yeah.
Right. And so Zelda clocks her out. Very smart.
Yes. Everybody needs a coworker friend like Zelda, guys.
Yes. But meanwhile, Eliza's in the lab and she has moved the cameras. But Hofstetter, as he comes up to the office to kind of talk to Michael Shannon's character, and Michael Shannon's being a fucking dick, and he comes up to the office and sees in the background of screens that they're moving the camera, and he doesn't say anything, but he goes and finds the camera and then finds Eliza in the lab, and he's like, if you have a plan, let's do it. I'm down to help him get out. And he also has that bomb from the Soviets to try, or I forget what they call it.
Oh, it was the ticking bomb that blew up the power thing that turned the lights off for 5 to 10 minutes.
The fuse box, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that ticked louder than anything I've ever seen in my life. That would be like trying to go through the TSA with like a bowling ball candle in your bag. Like they're definitely going to stop you for sure.
Right. But essentially he's like, great, we're in this together. He needs salinated water. He needs food. Let's put him in the laundry bin. Let's go. She gets out to the loading dock because she knows that there's a blind spot. Meanwhile, Giles is trying to get into the loading dock and they've forged.
Yeah, using his art director skills.
Yes.
They have counterfeited a badge and he's also painted the van to look like one of the laundry vans. It's a really convincing job.
Yes, it is, except that his badge is smearing.
Yeah.
And so the guy at the front gate is like, I can't let you in. Meanwhile, Michael Shannon has now figured this out, saw in the loading dock that there's a laundry truck that wasn't scheduled. He's trying to call down to the loading dock, but the loading dock guy doesn't answer. Meanwhile, Michael Shannon mobilizes people, but Dr. Hofstetter gets there first, injects the guy at the loading dock, and he's like, go through, she's waiting for you. They get Gills into the van, they drive off, and Michael Shannon is left basically knowing that they stole Gills right from under his nose.
Yes, but he thinks they is a 10-person strike squad from Russia.
Right, none of which he saw. He has cameras all over the whole fucking building, didn't see a single thing.
And they literally stole him using housekeeping equipment.
And they hit his Cadillac on the way out.
Of course, and I loved that.
I did love that too. But they get him into the bathtub, they have to fill it with table salt and the green thing, and he kind of calms down. Meanwhile, back at the facility, Michael Shannon finds the bomb that destroyed the fuse box, and he's like, all right, it's the Russians. Where are the 10 Russians?
Yeah.
Anyway. Meanwhile, she investigates the local canal, and it's basically like, okay, from October to November, it goes straight out to the ocean because the tides are high enough because of the rain. And so now she has a plan and a date.
Yeah, she literally writes it on her calendar. I mean, she doesn't say exactly what they're going to do. It's not like release Hidden Fish Man.
Right.
But it's like, rain/docks. So it gives it away at the end.
Right. And she does give him a greeting card that says, I'm glad to have you as a friend. And they hold hands, which is very sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Yeah.
But she comes back to work the next day. And Zelda's like, yeah, keep that up. Like, you don't know anything. Like, we didn't basically just rob the government. Like, this is not good.
Oh, yeah, this has got the kind of treason they, just shoot you for.
Right. And they're questioning everybody. Now, meanwhile, while she's at work, Giles is at home drawing him and talking to him about loneliness and kind of trying to figure out what his deal is. But they get called into question by Michael Shannon, and he's like, well, your time cards both punch you out before the incident, so
you're good.
I guess you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But if you see something, say something. And she goes, great. And on her way out, she signs, fuck you.
Well, because he's really rude to them. He says some really shitty things to them.
Yeah. Do you see anything trivial, as if they don't know what the word trivial means? Yeah. But while that's happening, Giles falls asleep, and unfortunately, Gills encounters a cat. And the cat hisses at him. He hisses back. It's not good. He does eat that cat's head, and I don't like it.
He eats the whole head. Yeah, I hated it.
It's very upsetting. And then on the way out, he accidentally runs and slices Giles, which means that he's injured and Gills is in the wind. But she then gets a call at work, and Dr. Hofstetter basically is like, thank you for all your help. Is you doing okay? Yes. And he's like, great, there's a phone call for you. My name is Dimitri. Like, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think that this is, okay, so like for Dimitri, the reason I was not surprised he helped is because he is othered by his Russianness in this society.
Yes.
Right? So it made sense that he would align himself with literally every other character that this movie kind of shows as othered by this society.
Yeah.
And I loved that in this moment, he's like, I'm not Hofstetter. My name is Dimitri. It's nice to meet you. Like, I love that he
Right.
was very much like, this is who I really am.
Yeah.
You guys deserve to know that. Bye.
Yeah.
I mean, they never talk again because he gets killed. But like,
Yeah.
I love that for both of them, honestly.
Yeah. But so she gets a call from Giles. So she goes straight home. She, examines the wound, the poor cat. And Giles is a lot nicer about it than I would be, where he's like, he's a wild animal. He doesn't know. Like, he felt threatened. It was whatever. But please go find him. So she goes out and he's just in the theater downstairs watching 10 Commandments. And she brings him back upstairs. And there's very much I think in Gills' own way, he's trying to apologize. And so he like puts his hand on Giles' head. He puts his hand on the arm, which does eventually heal those scars, but also makes Giles' hair start to grow back.
Yeah.
Which is a thing because he was wearing a toupee.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they are now kind of in a more, I guess, calm living environment with the three of them.
Yeah, he's out of jail, but he can't escape back to the ocean yet because I guess they don't have a vehicle that can drive, 20 minutes further than where the
Right.
like the dock is where they're going to release him. But whatever. Yeah, like that's the story. So it's fine. Yeah.
It's fine. Meanwhile, Hofstetter gets called in and they're like, did you see the monster? He's like, oh, have you not found the monster? And they're like, no. Where were you before Texas? And he's like, Wisconsin. They're like, interesting. Anyway, you haven't seen it, have you? And he's like, I thought you said you had a lead. And he's like, oh, mm-hmm. But it's very much that like Michael Shannon is suspecting him because he's the closest doctor to it. And he knows. And so he's going to try and have the Russians get him out of there.
Yeah. And he was obviously very against killing it, So
Right.
he, I think, is the most logical suspect and did help. Although I do think it was going to happen whether Hofstetter helped or not.
Right. Meanwhile, back in the apartment, Gills is back in the tub, but as she helps him get into the tub, she notices that her touch makes his skin light up.
Yeah.
And so she kind of touches him a little bit more to make it light up, and then he touches her collar and she kind of gets overwhelmed and leaves. But we know that she hasn't had her typical masturbation spot in days because that's where Gills lives.
I know.
And so she goes back in and it's implied because it happens off screen. She fucks that fish.
Oh, it's confirmed off screen. We don't see it.
It's confirmed off screen. Yeah, we never see it.
Yeah, but she closes the shower curtain and the scene ends before she can unlock the hatch.
Right, because she does go to work the next day and she's all happy. And Zelda's like, what? Why are you smiling? What's going on? And literally without telling her, she's like, oh my God, you fucked the fish, man. Like, you did it.
Yeah.
How does that even work? And she makes the hand motions for a hatch and then a lower thing. And she just goes, never trust a man.
Yeah. I thought that was very funny.
That is great.
Now, Paige, do you think she wanted to have sex with the amphibian man, or do you think she just really wanted a cheaper way to eat caviar?
Whoa, no. Caviar is the eggs. She'd have the caviar.
Or would it be roe? Is it roe?
Well, it's all eggs.
Yeah, I guess all that's eggs, right?
Yeah, it's all eggs. It is unclear if she has had any other sexual encounters involving another partner.
That's fair.
And we know that she loves water. And they have kind of a bond. And so I think this is more exploratory than anything. And it kind of just unfolds, if that makes sense.
It definitely is clear that she enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, because she goes back to do it again.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Soviets have a meeting. And they're like, hey, you killed that thing, right? And he's like, yeah, of course. Of course I did. Just like Lenin said, there's no profit in last week's fish. Ha 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 ha. But he's holding the knife to be like, oh, they're going to kill me. This is not good. They clearly know it's not dead.
I definitely think he thinks they're going to kill him. I don't think that he really has any other option, though, because he can't go to the Americans and sort of tell them what's going on because they are also looking for the fish guy and he was involved in it, So his best chance is to go with the Russians. So I understood why he still showed up to the extraction spot, but I was very sad when he died.
Yeah, later he gets shot.
He doesn't die here. You're right.
Yeah. We cut to Michael Shannon's house where his fingers are getting bad, but his wife is like, oh my gosh, look, I made a green gelatin parfait and the kids could get a puppy. And she very much wants to settle down. This is her place. And he's like, no, I hate it. So he gets in his car, sniffs his fingers, and then squeezes a bunch of pus out of them, which is so gross.
Yeah, it's real gross.
Meanwhile, it's another day, I would assume the next day, and she goes to try and flood the room so that she and Gills can get it on. And of course it floods into the theater and everything.
I mean, it like floods to the roof of the room they're in, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's having sex with a fish. So it's clearly a very heightened scenario.
Right.
When he goes and opens the door and like all the water spills out, I was like, oh man, that's going to be super salty and it's definitely going to smell a lot like bleach.
Yep. And I do love that like it washes out and she's like in the fish man's arms like,
Yeah.
oops. Anyway, this is also where Giles is like, my hair has started to grow and my skin is healed. Like they said that wherever they pulled him from, they worshipped him like a god, but maybe we should keep him around at least for as long as we can. But we cut to Hofstetter, who gets a call that his extraction is ready in 48 hours, meet at the same place. Great. However, Gills is not doing great. They are going to have to release him. The bathtub is not going to work forever.
Yeah. He needs the ocean. Like it's.
Yeah, he needs it.
I've seen Blackfish. I get it.
Yeah. I've seen Free Willy.
Yeah.
I understand as well. But we cut to the base where the general is there. Is like, did you find that fish yet? And Michael Shannon's like, no, but like, I've been good at my job my whole life. This is like the one time. And he's like, yeah, but it's like a really important time. So like, find that fucking fish or you're fired, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like he's going to demote him to some place where he's not going to want to be, right?
Right.
Whereas if he had finished just this one mission, it would have set him up for life, it seems. It's like that.
Right.
So for him, it's life and death, honestly.
Yeah. Now, back in the apartment, Eliza pulls that basically next calendar day, revealing that tomorrow is the day she has to release him or is supposed to release him.
Yeah.
And on the back of that October 9th, it just says, life is but the shipwreck of our plans.
Yeah.
Which is such a heart-wrenching quote for this movie.
Yeah.
And then she sits there basically just to try and tell him how she feels. And we get a full dance number.
I kind of loved it though, Paige.
I loved it.
It very much plays on the fact that her and Giles like love these like musicals that are maybe a little bit older than their time period they're in now, but like they grew up on, it seems, and they just love, right?
Right.
And now it's her and the amphibian man sort of dancing out like the characters in the movies that her and Giles were watching.
Right.
It's very sweet. The scene where they're like tap dancing on the couch together, I loved that. It was so sweet.
I love it. It's so sweet. And I did love that it wasn't a case of magical realism in which she found her voice in the real life as much as it was, this is the emotion she is feeling.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to real life and she is still expressing it via sign and trying to make him understand.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah.
Loved it. But his skin is flaking off. He's not doing good. Zelda is now coming over to like check on him and stuff. But they decide that they're going to call Dr. Hofstetter. He doesn't answer. He has just missed their call by going to the extraction point. But as he leaves, Michael Shannon is tailing him with another officer that he kicks out of his own car, which is pretty funny.
I love that. He's like, get out of the car. And he's like, this is my car. He's like, I know, I'm taking it, but it's my car. Did I stutter? I was like, yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. Kick that guy out of the car.
But he gets to the meeting spot and immediately the Russians shoot him. They had no intent to extract him. They were just going to kill him. But Michael Shannon shows up right after to basically shoot the Russians and then torture him to try to get information out of him. And he does eventually say, no names, no ranks, they just clean.
Yeah, because until this point, which is literally, I don't know, hour of like in-world time before the end of the movie,
right.
It takes him this long to realize it wasn't a Russian strike force.
Right.
Like Strickland's bad at his job.
Yes, because he is blind to people that he deems as unimportant.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he shows up at Zelda's house and is like, where the fuck did you take it? And she's like, I didn't take anything. And then her fucking loser husband is like, she took it. The girl who doesn't talk took it. And he's like, all right, cool. But in the process, Michael Shannon rips his own fingers off.
Yeah.
And throws them on her very clean rug.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. Nobody wants pickled fingers on their rug, Paige.
No.
He does it because he thinks he's Samson in this whole like Samson and Delilah, which Octavia Spencer's name is Delilah in the movie.
Wait. I'm sorry, I've been calling her Zelda the whole time because that's what it...
Oh, wait. No, her name is Zelda, Paige.
Okay.
But he is referring to her as like Delilah in the movie. I don't know why, but anytime he's talking to her, it's Delilah.
Yeah.
And that he is Samson. I don't know why. And maybe I just missed them setting that up, but that is what he's saying in this scene.
There was a scene about it.
I'm sure they set it up somewhere, and maybe I just missed the setup because I was writing a note or something. But like,
Yeah.
he is like talking about Samson and Delilah in this moment, and how like Samson asked for his power back, and God gave it to him one last time, and that's when he has the strength to rip off his fingers or whatever.
Yeah.
I like it because I really do think at the end of this movie, the Samson, if there has to be one in the movie, is the amphibious man who gets shot and then fucking stands up and wipes it off.
Yes.
Like it wasn't shit. Like that's some Samson-ass shit.
Yes.
But I like that he sees himself that way, and he's the one that ends up dead at the end of the movie.
Yeah. But anyway, he leaves. As soon as he leaves, she calls Eliza. And I love the like make a sound on the phone so you can hear. So Eliza like taps the phone.
Yeah.
He's coming for you. Get out of there. He gets to her apartment. He tears that apartment fucking apart, but they're already gone. They've already gotten to the dock. And she's having to say like, hey, you have to go. And he's like, together? And she's like, no, without me. And he's very upset about it.
Yeah.
But before they can even react, Michael Shannon is there and has shot him and shot her.
Yeah.
And Giles thankfully gets him across the face with a fucking like giant beam of wood or whatever.
It's like a 2x4 or something. Yeah. He like
Yeah.
hits him right in the face, and it like knocks him out.
Yeah. And she, is kind of dying on the ground next to Gills. And Gills wipes the bullets off, lights up.
Well, he stands up. Yeah.
Stands
it's
up.
so cool.
Picks her up, and he basically takes her to the salt water.
Well, not yet. He has to kill Michael Shannon first.
Well, he walks past him and literally like slits his throat, it is implied.
I love it because he's like trying to like reload his revolver.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit, you are a god. And then he gets killed. And that's when the amphibious man goes and picks up Eliza and then just jumps in the water.
Just jumps in the water. And then we do get Giles' voiceover of like, I don't know if they lived happily ever after, but I hope they did. And he ends with a very, very sweet poem.
And that's the movie. So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, Paige, what did you think about The Shape of Water?
I really enjoyed it. I liked this one a lot, personally.
Me too. It's weird, though. Like, if you're not into the really heightened reality of this lady having sex with a fish, and you cannot, like, see it as, like, okay, that's a stand-in for just othered people, right? Then you probably won't get it, man. But, like, it's good. I like it a lot. I thought it was really well acted. Beautiful story. Loved the look of it. Thought it was great. But, Paige.
Yes.
Do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, here it is with your fun facts. Fucking fish. Fun facts.
When The Shape of Water screened at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2017, the screening was held in the Elgin Theatre. Now, interior scenes of the theater in the film were also shot in the Elgin Theatre, so the audience was watching the film.
Oh, what?
They were seeing in the same theater on screen that they were sitting in.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool? I love that.
Yes.
So, Guillermo del Toro has said about Sally Hawkins, who played Eliza, not only was she the first choice, she was the only choice. I wrote the movie for Sally, and I wrote the movie for Michael Shannon. Sally is, and the quote goes on, but essentially cuts to, I wanted the character of Eliza to be beautiful in her own way, not in a way that's like a perfume commercial kind of way, that you could believe that this character, this woman, would be sitting next to you on the bus, but at the same time, she would have a luminosity, a magical, almost ethereal beauty. Which I think he definitely accomplishes.
Yeah.
Because she does look like the woman on the bus, but she is also very, very beautiful in her own way. Michael Shannon reportedly was in a Chicago bar, the Old Town Ale House, the moment the film won Best Picture at the 90th Academy Awards.
What?
Yes.
He wasn't there?
Yeah, he wasn't there. The bar's owner waited until after the ceremony was over to post a photo to Twitter of Shannon nonchalantly sitting at the bar alone with a pint of beer while watching the broadcast of the overhead TV set.
Wow.
I know.
Do you need friends, Michael Shannon? Like, what
I don't know, man.
happened in his... Okay.
He's got a family, I think. Like,
right? I thought so too. Why wasn't he there?
he might have been shooting something else. Usually when people aren't there, it's because they're shooting something else.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So Guillermo del Toro wrote lengthy backstories for each of the major characters, some of them going 40 pages or longer.
Damn.
And after casting the roles, he offered them to the actors and said that they could choose to utilize or ignore the backstories for their own character. Various actors responded differently. Richard Jenkins, who played Giles, said that he ignored the backstory, stating that the only thing that matters is what happens on screen. While Michael Stuhlbarg, who plays Hofstetter, said he read the backstory voraciously and found it very helpful in his performance. They both give great performances in the movie. So I think it's really interesting to kind of see different people's process and how that shows up.
That's super interesting. Yeah. Like that's
Isn't
just
it?
two different approaches to the acting process.
Yeah.
And I don't understand either of them because I'm not an actor, but I kind of get why two different people can have two different takes on it, you know?
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro had said that if this film had flopped, he would have retired from directing altogether. He has said that about a couple movies, specifically Pan's Labyrinth and Devil's Backbone, due to what he says is basically the very personal nature of those projects. Those three, so this one, Pan's Labyrinth and Devil's Backbone, he considers to be his most personal films, which I think is really interesting. But Pan's Labyrinth is probably my most favorite Del Toro.
That's the one that I was like putting this up there with. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I have not seen Devil's Backbone. Now I'm like, maybe I got to go see Devil's Backbone.
Yeah.
Because this one I love and Pan's Labyrinth I love. And I was like, I think this is the lane of Del Toro I like the most.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Anyway. So Sally Hawkins filmed a lot of underwater scenes for this film, and literally one day after completing them, she had to fly to London to begin production on Paddington 2, only to find out that she would have to shoot underwater scenes for that film on the first day.
Oh, man.
And underwater scenes are extremely physically taxing.
Yes.
So that was, yes. The creature design is obviously heavily inspired by the creature from the Black Lagoon, the 1954 version. And Michael Shannon's character does say that they picked it up in the Amazon River in South America, which is the setting of the creature from the Black Lagoon film.
Well, there you go.
The breathing that is part of the amphibian man's vocalization is Guillermo del Toro's breathing.
Really?
So he identifies as the monster, I believe. Interesting.
That would definitely put it there. Yeah, I could see that.
Yes. Richard Jenkins was cast via email. Guillermo del Toro just sent him the script and said, I hope you love this script as much as I do. Honestly, I've thought about sending things to people that I was like, I think you'd be great for this. And I always feel like that's a weird email to get, but apparently sometimes it works.
I mean, if you're Guillermo del Toro, who's like deep into a very successful career.
Yeah, I think people are just like, yes, please.
Yeah, especially with this script. Like if I was the guy who ended up playing Giles, I'd be like, yeah, I can make that work. Thank you for considering me. Would love to see you on Tuesday when we start shooting or whatever, you know? Yeah.
Yep. The idea for this film began, according to Guillermo del Toro, after watching a number of reruns of the classic 1954 monster movie Creature from the Black Lagoon. And he said that he thought it would be great if the creature and Julie Adams, who plays Kay Adams in that movie, ended up living together. He said that he had this thought for the first time when he was 6, when he saw the movie for the first time. And he said, I didn't know better, but I'm 53 and I guess I still don't know better because I made this movie. But I really liked this movie. So
yeah,
good for that. 95% of this film was shot in the studio.
I mean, so a lot of green screen then. It looks really good though. Like it's great.
Almost no green screen.
Oh shit. So it was a big ass hangar studio then. I mean, they would have had to big ass sets, but that's awesome. And it looks great.
Big ass sets.
Yeah.
And tanks.
Yeah.
The limited exteriors that they did shoot required a lot of rain, which had to be artificially created and warmed because they were filming in Canada.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did confirm it's not 10 Commandments, but rather it is the story of Ruth from 1960 and Mardi Gras that also came out in 1960.
Oh, that's right. The marquee says that on it. I forgot that until now, but yeah, of course.
Yep. Now, the story of Ruth is not necessarily exact to the biblical story of Ruth. The female protagonist is given up as a child, raised to be a priestess to pagan gods, till she meets an outsider with different values and a belief in the one true God. They fall in love, but are persecuted, and he is imprisoned, and she makes a failed attempt to free him. It is essentially meant to be a bit of a mirror to the story we're watching.
Yeah.
And I'll end on this one because I think it's a fun quote about this movie. After seeing this movie, Kevin Smith tweeted out, quote, "Seeing something as beautiful as this makes me feel stupid for ever calling myself a director," which, as someone who has enjoyed the occasional Kevin Smith movie, hey man, there's room for a lot of different art, but this is indeed beautiful. And those are your fun facts.
I mean, Tusk is The Shape of Water, so I understand why he would say that, but it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be. Not everything's going to be The Shape of Water. Some things can be Zack and Miri make a porno, and one of these days I will make us watch it because I do genuinely like that movie.
Yeah, I like some Kevin Smith movies too. And I also like that he is I think he understands where he fits in.
100%.
Yeah, I like that he has a very realistic view of who he is in the world, at least. Anyway, but Paige, thank you for those fun facts.
Ooh, actually,
Oh.
do you want to hear one more hilarious quote?
Yes.
Okay. Guillermo del Toro pitched this movie to Sally Hawkins in 2014, so 3 years before it was released, at the Golden Globes, and he was drunk at the time. So he says, quote, "I was drunk, and it's not a movie that makes you sound less drunk when you pitch it."
She was like, Guillermo, you're drunk as a fish. And he's like, but I want you to fuck a fish. And she was like, no. And she was like, we'll never be together. And he was like, listen, it's not that. That's the movie, not me. The movie.
It'll be Doug Jones in a suit, as always.
Man, if you can get him, yeah, that's who you want for sure.
Yeah, he's great on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. But Paige, thank you for those fun facts. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for The Shape of Water?
Knowing that they did so much of this practically, I'm going to say that this cost a lot of money. I bet this cost about $70 million.
Yeah, Paige, that's the reason I thought it was green screen, because I knew it was only $19.5 million.
Jeez. Oh my God. Every once in a while, a movie that is beautifully shot and incredibly well made has a crazy low budget like that. And I give Guillermo del Toro all the money he wants. Oh my God.
Man.
If this is what comes out with 19 million, Jesus Christ, that's fucking insane.
It's great.
Good for y'all.
I know.
Good for y'all.
Yeah, it is pretty great. Anyway, this movie came out the weekend of December 1st, 2017, and it was number 20 in the box office the weekend it came out. It was only in 2 theaters, though. So anyway, it was beat by the number 1 movie that weekend, Coco. Number 2 was The Justice League. Number 3 was Wonder. Number 4 was Thor Ragnarok. And number 5 was Daddy's Home. Paige, what do you think it brought in its opening weekend, even though it was only in 2 theaters?
2 theaters.
Yeah, when it was ranked 20th.
This probably made $80,000.
It made twice that. It made $166,000. Again, only 2 theaters.
Yeah.
The per theater average was $83,000 per theater.
That's great.
And the number 1 movies per theater average was almost $7,000 a theater.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, this movie had a very weird path in theaters because it started out in just 2. It did get a wider release, but before the Oscars and it winning Best Picture, it was never above the 10th position, which was its December 22nd week. It was 10th in the box office. Now, it fell to 16th by the weekend of January 19th. But the next weekend, the weekend of January 26th, it was 8th in the box office.
Right.
And was literally in 1,001 more theaters that week than it was the week before.
Because that's when you're doing your Oscar campaign.
Well, it was actually probably right after it won the Oscar, I bet.
It was probably before because you have to meet a per theater average to qualify for the Oscars.
No, I understand that. I just don't think they would have pushed it out into a wide release unless they thought it would get people to come to the wide release. You know what I'm saying? Although
it might have at least been nominated at that point.
I just looked it up. It was definitely when it was nominated because the awards didn't happen until February 26th.
Right. That's what I was saying. I was like, January's too early for Oscars, but noms would be out at that point.
Yeah.
And once noms are out, people go see
Yep.
everything that's nominated. So
that's definitely what happened because from January 26th until after it won, and it had a little bit of a surge after it won, but it was between 9th and 12th for that whole time period. In fact, all the way through March 19th of 2018, it was either 8th through 12th position, just bouncing sort of back and forth, honestly. Probably based upon the amount of press it was getting.
yeah. Well, because the press was like, a lady fucks a fish in this movie,
Right?
but people think it might win the Oscars.
I know. I would go see that.
And thus it did.
Exactly. It was in theaters for 22 weeks total. And Paige, what do you think it made domestically at the box office in those 22 weeks?
I bet it makes about $53 million.
It did a little better, although that's a great guess.
good.
It was $63.8 million domestically.
That's good because Oscar budgets for marketing are even higher than 2X. So yes, good for them.
I mean, I'm sure you're right because they had to market it for theaters and then market it for the Oscars, but
Yeah.
it did make well over 2X its budget just domestically, but it also brought in $131.9 million internationally for a total of,
Woo.
for a total of $195.9 $258.7 million, which if you adjust for inflation is like $259.4 million today, which is crazy.
And that's why they let him make Frankenstein, and I can't wait to see it.
I'll watch it for sure, but that is your box office. It did very, very well. Paige, do you want to hit him with that romance scale?
Sure, our romance scale is a scale of 1 to 4 because Mikey said so. How romantic did we find the movie today, Todd?
Probably a 1.5, 2. I'll say 2 because there is a little bit of chemistry, although it still is fucking a fish.
I'll give it a 1.5 on the chemistry, but I'll give it a 1 on the roar scale for the hatch.
You gotta see what's behind the hatch before you give it a grade, Paige. Come on.
I like mysteries.
I stand by my caviar joke, but Paige, that's your romance scale. Paige, I gotta ask, what are we gonna watch next week as we continue, I'm assuming, Spooky Romance Month?
No, because this was the last one in October. We're moving into something else. Now, usually November we start Christmas movies early, but I am going to ask for a stay of Christmacution this year.
Stay of Christmacution.
To watch a movie that came out while we were doing Spooky Month and meant that we couldn't really incorporate it, but a movie that I desperately want us to do.
Okay.
And it's perfect because Love is Blind is like about to have their finale and stuff. It'll be perfect timing. There is a movie on Netflix called The Wrong Paris.
What is it, Paris Marriott?
Basically. It's Paris, Texas is where it's supposed to be.
Oh, I guess it's a place. My bad. Okay.
It is a Netflix original, but it is essentially a woman goes on to a dating show to try and get to Paris to go to art school, and unfortunately has to play her way through the dating show with a hot cowboy. And thank me later. It's fun and a half, and it's actually very, very funny and well done. And I'm glad we'll get a chance to talk about it. So it's The Wrong Paris next week.
Guys, I cannot wait to watch this movie. I'm looking through the cast list right now, and I've never seen anyone in anything. I cannot wait.
You've seen Miranda Cosgrove because she was one of the kids in School of Rock.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
She was the one that's like the band manager because she's very like hardcore and organized.
Okay, so I haven't seen her in 20 years.
Well, yeah, because you didn't watch iCarly or whatever.
No.
So
no, I did not. But yeah, I can't wait to watch The Wrong Paris when I think she may be the dumbest person to ever enter a contest if she didn't realize it was Paris, Texas. But all right.
Well, they hide it from them on purpose. They tell them it's Paris, France, and then they...
Oh my God. You didn't tell me the Netflix show in the series was produced by the Lachey's, because that is definitely some Lachey level nonsense.
100%. But that is what happens.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Yep. It's going to be great. Hey, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. This week, I'm going to read a comment from our most recent Spotify episode, that being our Bedazzled episode. And I'm going to read Ashley's, and they say, "Come here for the hilarious movie summaries, stay for the occasional reminders that everyone feels socially awkward more often than not, and the little tips Paige and Todd offer to deal with those feelings. Thanks for another heartfelt banger of an episode." I didn't realize we did that. I don't remember that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. And hopefully it helped. And we also love that you come for the hilarious breakdowns. But if you want to have me read your Spotify comment and or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep. Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
Ropletion.
Two fish pletion.
Gross. Bye. Margaret Lovert gonna sue somebody nerds. Google it.
I'm gonna.
La, 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 la.